In this chapter, we've already learned about the ways by which genes function. Today's lecture is about the mechanism by which these genes are regulated. We'll be learning how exactly is a gene controlled, how exactly does the gene function. That's what basically we're learning in this chapter, in this lecture. If you talk of a bacteria called as E. coli, for its regular survival, for obtaining energy, the nutrient which is used by E. coli is glucose. Glucose is the substance which is regularly broken down by E. coli. So can I say that breakdown of glucose would take place easily by E. coli, and E. coli would have a set of enzymes by which glucose would be easily broken down? Do you agree? Since glucose is the substance which is utilized by E. coli, since glucose is the substance which is broken down by E. coli, we could say that E. coli has enzymes which break down glucose. E. coli would have enzymes which can easily break down glucose. Now Jacob and Monod found out that when glucose was not provided to E. coli and when lactose was provided to E. coli could break down lactose also. If E. coli could break down lactose, that means can I say E. coli got enzymes to break down lactose? Yes or no? Was lactose the substance which was regularly broken by E. coli? So can I say when lactose was made available to E. coli, what did the E. coli produce? Enzymes to break down lactose. What is a regular substance broken down by E. coli? Glucose. Matlab E. coli has enzymes to break down. But when lactose was provided to E. coli could also break down lactose. Matlab only when lactose was available, E. coli could produce a new set of enzymes. Only when lactose was available, E. coli could produce a new set of enzymes which could help in the metabolism, which could help in the breakdown of lactose. By the way, lactose breakdown occurs with the help of three different types of enzymes. The first enzyme which helps the lactose entry in the cell is permease. What is the name of the enzyme? Permease. What is the function of permease? Helps in the entry of lactose within the cell of the E. coli. The second enzyme which helps in breakdown of lactose is beta-galactosidase. It helps the lactose to be broken down to glucose and galactose. The breakdown of lactose into glucose and galactose occurs with the help of an enzyme called as beta-galactosidase, and it is further broken down with the help of acetyl coenzyme A. It is further broken down into acetyl coenzyme A by an enzyme called as trans-acetylase. So there are a set of three enzymes which are needed to break down lactose. What are the three enzymes for lactose breakdown? First is permease. Second is beta-galactosidase. Third is trans-acetylase. Which is the enzyme which helps in the entry of lactose? Permease. Lactose breakdown into glucose and galactose occurs by beta-galactosidase, and the further breakdown with the help of acetyl coenzyme A occurs by trans-acetylase. That's how lactose is metabolized. That's how lactose is utilized by E. coli. Are these enzymes present in the E. coli right from the beginning? During normal conditions, would you find these enzymes inside? No, excepting a bit of permease. A bit of permease is always there. Otherwise, the other enzymes are never there in E. coli. But when lactose entered the E. coli started producing these enzymes. Now, how does this entire process work? We need a set of three enzymes which were involved. Yeah, what were the three enzymes which were needed? What were the three enzymes which were needed for the process? One was permease. There was beta galactosidase. There was permease. And there was trans-acetylase. These are enzymes. Enzymes chemically are nothing but proteins. And proteins are formed by the process which is called as translation. We did this last time. This translation process occurs with the help of what? mRNA. So can I draw an mRNA here? So I'll draw an mRNA. With the direction of 5-2. Can I say this mRNA what I have drawn here is an mRNA which is carrying the message for how many proteins? 3. The mRNA which carries message for more than one protein is called as polycistronic mRNA. What do we call it as? Polycistronic mRNA. So this is your polycistronic mRNA. And what is the property of this polycistronic mRNA? What is the property of this polycistronic mRNA? It actually forms 3 different types of enzymes, 3 different types of proteins by the process called as translation. How was this mRNA produced? The mRNA was produced by the process called as transcription. And transcription requires a strand of DNA called as template strand. Correct? The template strand what I'm talking of had 3 different types of genes. Had 3 different types of genes. There was a gene Z, which was needed for the formation of beta galactosidase. There was a gene Y, which was needed for the formation of permease. And there was a gene A, which was needed for the formation of trans-acetylase. We needed 3 genes because we are going to produce 3 different types of enzymes. What does gene Z help in formation of? Beta galactosidase. Gene Y helps in the formation of permease, and GA helps in the formation of trans-acetylase. Does the gene directly form these enzymes? The gene first shows, and by transcription, what does it form? mRNA. Which mRNA? Polycistronic mRNA. That polycistronic mRNA then shows translation, and by translation, it helps in forming the 3 different types of enzymes. Yes or no? Okay. Now, if you remember what we had learned regarding transcription, transcription occurs with the help of an enzyme called as RNA polymerase type 2. And RNA polymerase type 2 needs to get attached to a gene part. Yes, what is that part of the gene called as? Promoter gene, yes? So I'm writing P. What does P stand for? Promoter gene. What is the job of the promoter gene? Promoter gene is the one which provides attachment to the enzyme RNA polymerase type 2. Achha, can I say that means this gene here, which is actually involved in transcription, would be called as structural gene. What do we call this as? Structural gene. So gene Z, gene Y, gene A, what do they compose? What do they form? They form the structural gene. For they to function, what should get attached? What should be involved? Which enzyme? RNA. For they to function, what enzyme should work? RNA polymerase type 2. And we learned this in transcription. For RNA polymerase type to get attached, we need a gene which is called as promoter gene or promoter region. So I've made that. Now you can see between the promoter gene and the structural gene, I have shown another gene. That gene is called as the operator gene. So we write O. What does operator gene mean? That gene present between the promoter region and the structural gene. What is operator region? That region present between promoter region and the structural gene. Okay. Now, apart from promoter region, there is another gene which we denote with I. I'll tell you later what does this I signify. The I itself is a gene having its own promoter gene. It has its own promoter gene. The I, this gene, would first form its own mRNA by transcription. And then mRNA would show translation. And by translation, this mRNA would form its own protein. This protein binds to what? The operator gene. By binding to the operator gene, can I say this protein would not allow the RNA polymerase to move over the structural gene? If the RNA polymerase cannot move over the structural gene, the process of transcription will stop. If you remember the process of transcription, the RNA polymerase was getting attached to the promoter region and then it was moving up. It was moving over the structural gene, and when it was moving over the structural gene, mRNA was being formed. Do you remember? Yes. Till it reached the terminator region. What was RNA polymerase 2 getting attached to? Promoter region. Moving over the structural gene and helping in the formation of mRNA. मतलब helping in the process of transcription. बराबर है ना? And then it goes getting separated. Do you agree? So you have this protein which has now got attached to the operator gene. It will not allow the RNA polymerase site 2 to move over the. If it will not allow it to move over the structural gene, can I say the process of transcription would not take place? Will translation take place? Will these proteins be formed? Can I say this protein is suppressing the gene? We say it is repressing the gene, which is the same thing. Can I say at this moment, this diagram what I have shown, the gene is active or inactive? Because this protein has got attached here, is this functioning taking place? Can I say it's an inactive gene? An inactive gene is also called as a repressed gene. What do we call it as a repressed gene? What caused this repression? This protein. So this protein is called as repressor protein. What do we call it as? Repressor protein. I'm writing R, not P. I hope you understand. This RP I wrote because of RNA polymerase. Okay, what is this protein? Repressor protein. Repressor protein was formed using which gene? I gene. I stands for inhibitor gene. I stands for the inhibitor gene. I can also call it as repressor gene. What do we also call it as? Repressor gene. Moral of the story, for any process to take place, you need enzymes. How are enzymes formed? By translation, using mRNA. mRNA is formed by using structural genes. Do the structural genes work alone? Can I say along with structural gene, you need a promoter region, terminator region. Along with that, you also need a operator region. Correct? Can I call all of these as control elements? Because they control the functioning of structural gene. That means for any process to take place, do you have a single gene working or you have a group of genes? That group of genes is called as operon. What do we call this group of gene as? Operon. You do not have a single gene working for any process. You always have structural genes along with the control elements. The control elements include operator region, promoter region, inhibitor gene. They all milke work. What is that entire set of genes called as? Operon. This operon was regarding metabolism of which substance? This operon which we studied which was controlling the metabolism of which substance? Lactose. So this operon was called as lac operon. What do we call it as? Lac operon. Jacob and Monod studied the lac operon and found out that this is how the gene, this is why the E. coli was never producing that enzyme. Because E. coli regularly does not break down lactose. If it regularly does not break down lactose, does the E. coli need these three enzymes? And what keeps this enzyme from being formed? What prevents this enzymes from being formed? Repressor protein. This is how it works. Doubt? Then what happens when lactose enters the cell? Do we need these enzymes? Yes. Then what happens? How does the E. coli produce the enzyme at that moment? Lactose upon entering the cell. And that's what Jacob and Monod found out. They provided lactose to the E. coli. E. coli is not used to lactose. E. coli breaks down glucose. They were shocked, they were surprised to see lactose easily broken down by E. coli, which indicated that the lactose did something to the E. coli. What did it do? The moment lactose molecules entered the E. coli, these lactose molecules bind to the repressor protein. The lactose binds to the repressor protein, moves the repressor protein away from the operator gene. Lactose would bind it and move it away from the operator gene. What will happen? If the repressor protein is moved away by the lactose, can RNA polymerase type 2 function? Yes. If the repressor protein has moved away from the operator gene, can this enzyme now function? Will transcription take place? Will translation take place? Can I say the enzymes would be produced? Those enzymes would be produced and those enzymes would then break down lactose. So can I say entry of lactose actually started the process? Lactose is called as an inducer. What is lactose called as? Inducer. Once lactose enters the cell, are these genes active or inactive then? Active. Can I say the genes are de-repressed? At the moment the genes are repressed. Repressed matlab? Suppressed. Inactive. When lactose enters, they become active or de-repressed. Many of you will read it as depressed. De-repressed matlab active. You all are laughing. I'll put a question and you'll screw it up. I'm telling you. When I say de-repressed, it means what? Not repressed. Not inactive. Samjha? At the moment, what do I say about the gene? Repressed. Inactive. Repressed. Doubt? So what will happen when lactose comes here? It will bind to the repressor protein. Move the repressor protein away from the operator gene. Got it? See this diagram here. Making the same thing again. What would I call this as? What would I call all these three as? Structural gene. What is this gene called as? Promoter gene. What does promoter gene provide attachment to? RNA polymerase type 2. What has entered the cell? Lactose. See what lactose does. It bound to the repressor protein, moved it away from the operator gene. Can RNA polymerase move like that? Is this there in the way? Can RNA polymerase move? If RNA polymerase moves, what will take place? Transcription. What would be formed? mRNA 5' to 3'. What do I call this mRNA as? Polycistronic mRNA. Which will then show the process of translation. And form enzymes, that is beta galactosidase, permease, and trans-acetylase. Is this gene active or inactive? I will say the gene is de-repressed. What caused the activation? Lactose. So we call lactose as an inducer. What do we call lactose as a inducer? What will these enzymes do? Start breaking down? They'll start breaking down lactose. So they start breaking down lactose. When they start breaking down lactose, when all the lactose is broken down, can I say even this is broken down? They start breaking down lactose. When they start breaking down lactose, and when all the lactose is done, when all the lactose is broken down, can I say even this lactose is broken down? What will happen to the repressor protein? It again becomes free, goes and binds to the operator gene. Process of transcription stops. Translation stops. Enzyme production stops. Got it? Can I say this entire set of genes was controlling the lactose metabolism? What do you call this entire set of genes as? Operon. This operon was controlling the metabolism of lactose, so we call it as lactoperon. It was studied by Jacob and Monod. It was studied in which bacteria? E. coli. They found E. coli has around 75 such operons for different metabolisms. Every operon has a structural gene and has these, which are called as control elements. By the way, what does the I stand for? What is the I gene? Inhibitor gene. Repressor gene, same thing. I can be inhibitor gene, you can also call it as repressor gene. What does the repressor gene help in forming? Repressor protein. And if you see, I've made, this is the promoter gene of the, promoter region of this gene, samjha? That's how I've written P again. Doubt? Lactoperon ka concept, they can ask you for 4 marks. Yes. Let's say let's talk of humans. Yeah. In humans, glucose is broken down by glycolysis, and glycolysis needs 10 steps. So how many enzymes would you need for glycolysis? 10. That set of 10 enzymes would be produced by the same mechanism. One operon would control all the enzymes which produce. One operon would control the formation of all those enzymes which will break down glucose. So for glycolysis, whatever enzymes you need are produced by a set of genes called as operon. Metabolism. For every metabolic process, we'll have a different operon. For glycolysis, you'll have one operon. You don't have one operon for one enzyme. So glycolysis needs 10 enzymes. Just like lactose metabolism needed 3 enzymes. All they were controlled by one operon. ऐसे glucose का breakdown, glycolysis needs 10 enzymes. All of them would be produced by one operon. Because, listen, you can't have 4 enzymes being formed and the other 5 not being formed. If you want to form, you form all 10 or you don't form any. So all of them would be controlled by one set of genes. That's called as operon. 4 marks. Sorry? There is a theory which says, the question is, can the genes forget one particular process? That can the genes forget breaking down glucose because you never gave glucose to the cell? Right? First of all, if you don't eat glucose, what does the cell do? Break down fat. When it breaks down fat, matlab, So no food, so it will break down fat of your body. When it will break down fat of your body, what will it do? Convert fat into acetyl coenzyme A and break down acetyl coenzyme A. Fat breakdown is not a different pathway. If you don't have glucose, I hope you know when you break down glucose, what do you do? Break down glucose to pyruvic acid and pyruvic acid to acetyl coenzyme A. If you don't eat glucose and you eat fat, what will fat be broken down into? Acetyl coenzyme A. Krebs cycle would start. If you break down proteins, it will be converted into acetyl coenzyme A and the process would start. So ultimately the process of breakdown is the same. Starting material preferably is glucose. If there is no glucose, then whatever you break, you ultimately go there only. Yes, but since you're talking of forgetting, they say that predominantly we had fat. There's a theory, okay? This is a type of a diet which says that if you eat high fatty food, I think I told you this. If you eat high fatty food, you make the body forget that it has to use glucose as the first source, and the body starts breaking down fat as the first source. And when you do that, you stop eating. Then when you regularly eat your food, your body would first start breaking down the fat, and so you lose weight. It's a type of a diet where they eat butter and lovely diet. Is that clear? So that's a mixed opinion about its efficacy, but this is the type of diet which is there. They say that originally we were like that. We used to break down fat. And then this thing came that don't eat fatty food, and that's why our body started not breaking down fat and breaking down glucose. So it's like, I don't know how true it is. I would not want to take a chance with this diet. I would regularly, less carbs wala diet is better.
So could it be possible that one metabolism requires more than one operon?
Yeah, possible. If it's a complex, like Krebs cycle would need more than one operon because Krebs cycle is an amphibolic pathway. There are so many things interconnected with each other.
Well, that will require more.
Yeah, like complex pathways like Krebs cycle. Now I want you to draw these two diagrams. Listen here. Commonest problem with this concept. If you do not draw this diagram properly, then it's very difficult to understand this. 3 months from now, I don't want you to come back to me and ask for a revision for this topic. If you don't have a diagram, you will ask me for a revision. Because without this diagram, you will not understand. Your textbook diagram has explained everything with one single explanation, with one single illustration. So make this diagram properly.